now. Thank you for staying tuned. The World News at 12 begins outside the shores of Nigeria, where a landslide has killed at least 370 people in the remote Mara Mountains in western Sudan, according to UN officials. Antoine Girard, the UN's deputy humanitarian coordinator for Sudan, said that it was hard to assess the scale of the incident or the exact death toll, as the area was very hard to reach. Sudan Liberation Movement Army, the armed group in control of the affected area, had earlier said that at least 1,000 people had died. Days of heavy rain triggered the landslide on Sunday, which left just one survivor and leveled much of the village of Tassin. The movement has appealed for humanitarian assistance from the UN and other regional and international organizations. Back home in Nigeria, a peace dialogue held on Monday in Kankara town, Katsina State, with suspected Fulani bandit has raised concerns among residents over the continued possession of arms by the group. Some community members expressed worry that despite reconciliation talks, some of the bandits still move freely carrying weapons. A resident who spoke on condition of anonymity questioned the rationale behind negotiating peace while armed men were left unchecked in communities. The concerns are intensified after videos surfaced online showing armed men riding motorcycles in the area while openly displaying weapons. The footage, which has since gone viral, has further fueled doubt about the sincerity of the peace process and the safety of residents. Meanwhile, the convoy of former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, now a leader of the African Democratic Congress ADC in Kebbi State and a likely contender for the 2027 governorship race, was attacked by suspected political thugs in Benin Kebbi on Monday. Malami, who served as AGF between 2015 and 2023, has been linked with plans to contest the governorship under the ADC platform, positioning himself as the major challenger to the ruling All Progressives Congress APC in the state. The incident reportedly occurred shortly after his return to Kebbi while on a condolence visit to bereaved families in the metropolis. It is understood that about 10 vehicles in the convoy were vandalized while several of his supporters sustained injuries. Malami described the attack as politically motivated. The APC in Kebbi has, however, denied any involvement. The party's publicity secretary Issa Asalafi condemned the violence and insisted Kebbi remains a peaceful state. He further alleged that armed security personnel attached to Malami's convoy opened fire during the confrontation, which he claimed escalated the situation. The federal government has hinted it may seek the repatriation of Simon Ekpa to Nigeria following his 6-year jail sentence in Finland for terrorism-related offences. The Paget District Court in Finland on Monday sentenced the Nigerian-born Finnish to 6 years in prison for terrorism-related crimes and other offences. The 40-year-old municipal politician from Lati was convicted on multiple charges, including participation in the activities of a terrorist organization, incitement to commit crimes for terrorist purposes, aggravated tax fraud, and violations of the Lawyers Act. The court ordered that Ekpa remain in custody. General of Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi, a senior advocate of Nigeria, in a statement noted that further steps would be taken once the judgment has been officially reviewed. Some members of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) loyal to the Federal Capital Territory FCT Minister Nyesom Wike met last night and came up with fresh conditions for the conduct of the November 15 and 16, 2025 elective national convention of the party slated for Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Wike and his allies have been at loggerhead with the National Working Committee and the PDP governors over the convention, saying these conditions must be met for the peaceful conduct of the convention. Just before the conduct of the 102nd National Executive Committee meeting of the party last month at the party headquarters, National Secretary of the party, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, was said to have initially refused to sign the letter of notification to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) over Wike's conditions, but did so after the intervention of PDP governors. VP News gathered that among those present at last night's meeting were former Governor Samuel Otom of Benue, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi Ifeanyi of Enugu, Fayoshe of Ekiti, Okezie Ikpazu of Abia, and National Secretary Anyanwu. The group, which tagged itself as eminent leaders and concerned stakeholders of the PDP, said having met to review the state of the party and assess the critical issues leading to the forthcoming national convention, agreed with the zoning committee's recommendations, which was adopted by the NEC, that status quo remains, but they further and very strongly held that there should be no form of micro-zoning for peace and stability within the party. The group also said the national chairman of the party should remain in the North Central in line with the zoning formula of the 2021 convention. You're still listening to World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has issued an urgent public health warning regarding the circulation of a fake oxytocin injection product identified as Gold Vision Oxytocin Injection 10IU, bearing a fake NAFDAC registration number A49566. In a statement released on its website, the agency revealed that the counterfeit product is said to be manufactured in China and marketed by a Nigerian company. According to NAFDAC, the fake medicine was discovered during a risk-based post-marketing surveillance sampling exercise conducted by its post-marketing surveillance directorate affairs. The statement said that further investigation by the agency uncovered 3 additional falsified injectable products identified as A-tocin injection, X-tocin injection, and Claxitodine injection, all attributed to the same manufacturer and bearing the identical fake NAFDAC registration number. NAFDAC noted that the medicine poses serious health risks to mothers and newborns. Oxytocin is a critical medication used to induce or strengthen labor, control postpartum bleeding, and support lactation. It acts by binding to uterine receptors, triggering contractions that are vital during and after childbirth. NAFDAC warned that unregistered or counterfeit oxytocin can pose severe health risk, especially for mothers and newborns. You're still listening to World News at 12 right here on Voice of People 91.3 FM. We'll take a very short break and return with the news analysis segment. I have right here in the studio veteran reporter, Mr. Dele Fanimo, who's also VOP's in-house analyst, to join me in talking about the issues on the news this afternoon. Stay with us. Welcome back, Mr. Dele Fanimo. Thank you so much for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon.
Good afternoon, and I'm happy to be here again.
I'm happy to have you here. Let's talk about the peace dialogue held yesterday in Katsina State, where some terrorists, because I don't know why we call them bandits, they had a peace pact.
Terrorists.
They had a peace pact with members of the community. That is, they had their representatives, other bandits, coming out to meet members of the community and community leaders to say, oh, we will no longer attack you. Let's have a peace pact. Let's talk about how we'll continue to live in peace from here on out. But it's unfortunate that after that, these people went on a show on a would I call it a weapons parade or what? Parading with motorcycles and their weapons. If indeed they are ready to live in peace, why are they wielding these weapons and showing it off to people of the communities? That to let them know that any small thing will come back. Oh, this our peace pact is fragile. I mean, remember that yesterday Rufai talked about the federal government paying huge amounts of money to bandits and terrorists in the country to keep them at bay. Is this actually emboldening these bandits and terrorists to do worse than they're already doing?
You see, I've always said one thing. Anywhere in the world, a blackmailer will never be satisfied. The more you give in, the more he approaches you for more. And it's the case of these terrorists that they call bandits. It's just a way of protecting them. That's why they call them bandits. A bandit comes, steal, and goes away. But a terrorist would have an enclave, would attack, and stand by it. Bandits don't show themselves. They don't have a permanent place. It's just like a thief. A thief will not stay in one place because he's afraid of being caught. But these are terrorists. They are unleashing terror Look at what they did yesterday. It was tantamount to terrorism. You came to the community and you started brandishing weapons. What were you trying to say? You are only terrorizing them, showing them your superior firepower, show of force, to let them know that, look, at your own risk, if you do anything funny, as far as we are concerned, we are still intact and we are ready to unleash terror.
That's why I say, doesn't that show that the peace pact itself is fragile and is just a facade for the people to have that kind of feeling of security when actually,
as part of the swearing-in ceremony, must sign that I take responsibility for the welfare and security of citizens. So if that is taken care of by the Constitution, then why should community now be saddled with the responsibility of raising that? So the community has no business having any pact with terrorists.
But would you blame them actually?
No, I would rather blame government that abdicated its responsibility and made it a kind of responsibility for the communities. For instance, we all know in Nigeria that we don't even have government presence at our local level. Today, even as an individual, you are a municipal. You provide your alternative electricity, you provide borehole in your house, you provide bridge that links your house to the community, you provide almost everything. Security, you provide. So, it's a failure of governance that we have to do all this. In some other climes, nobody talks about security. It is the responsibility of the state to take care of people's security. It is the responsibility of the state to provide pipe-borne water. It is the responsibility of the state to provide adequate and constant electricity. So it is the responsibility of the state. So when the state begins to shift this responsibility to communities that are only out there to look for their daily bread, then it's a sign of failure of governance. So that's where I see it.
It's quite unfortunate, but in this same Katsina state, just last week, the lawmaker representing Funtua constituency in the Katsina State House of Assembly said he heard the story of villagers in his constituency hurling stones and sticks at gunmen, and so he decided to buy them weapons so that they can defend themselves. And some people are accusing him of trying to militarize the people, but he said no, he's just trying to give them a fighting chance until security personnel will arrive. Is that not a recipe for chaos?
It's not a recipe for chaos.
So you support the buying of arms for civilians who don't know how to use it?
They will be trained. You see, the first law of nature is self-preservation. Until you are able to preserve your life, that's when you can do anything. So for me, if government fails to protect you, would you fold your arms and sit like a sitting duck for somebody to come and attack you, attack your family, kill everybody? If there is an opportunity for you to arm yourself, at least to scare them away from your community, why not?
What kind of weapons?
Constitution still allows you to use den gun.
That was actually what he bought for him. From the pictures that I saw.
He knows the Constitution.
Can those then guns stand the firepower that the bandits are coming with? Because we've seen time and time again that these people are armed with sophisticated weapons.
See, the bandits, no matter how emboldened a bandit is, he doesn't want to die.
You've established that these are not bandits but terrorists.
You see?
So we know that they mean business. They're coming to kill, steal, and destroy.
That's what I'm saying. You see, some have dexterity to at least bring one person down before that person is killed, and then God will provide that. And if you position yourself in a place where the bandit cannot or the terrorist cannot access, you can still reload and kill the second person. So when they know that a population of like 50 people have den guns and positioned, because they cannot understand the terrain of that community more than the community inhabitants. So when they fire at these criminals, these bandits or these terrorists, when they fire at them, they don't know if they are firing from a den gun. It is the booming of the gun Because these people, they don't come in the afternoon, they come at night.
You know, already when these people were unarmed, these terrorists were coming with so much vim, with so much anger. Would it not be worse if they know that these people are armed and waiting for them, and they know that the kind of arms these people have cannot withstand theirs?
See, it is also necessary that you have to understand one thing. If you bring down 10 terrorists, if these people are trained and you are able to retrieve 5 of those AK-47s rifles with 30 rounds each, that's 150 rounds.
So the people will now,
of course they will have to use it.
Guns,
they will have to hold the guns.
Not submit it to security agents.
No, at the point of fighting, when you bring somebody down, you take possession of his arm.
Okay, is it not possible that these same people now, because they now have access to weapons, can now see the surge or the growth of criminality and then choose to go the same way?
No. The communities know themselves. And no community member will turn its arm against his community member. And we are not in Lagos. Those communities are not Lagos, where everybody is on his own. There are some communities that if you enter that community 12 midnight, people will spot you. They know you are not part of them. In fact, your posturing, your mien, your character would betray you, will give you away. So, in that situation, you need such.
All right, then. I want us to quickly talk about the unfortunate attack on the convoy of the former Attorney General of Federation, that's Abubakar Malami. You know, he served as AGF between 2015 and 2023, and we're getting reports that he may be planning something on to contest the governorship of the state under the ADC. He's positioned himself as a major challenger to the ruling APC in the state. This was someone who served under the administration of former President Buhari, and now he seems to be standing against the same APC government which he stands under. Some people, some Nigerians, and even some of his own supporters have accused the APC in Kebbi State of being behind that attack, but they've denied every involvement. And of course, the Kebbi State Police Command, they're actually investigating that. But I want to cast your mind back something that happened over the weekend. I think it was in Kaduna State where there was a gathering of opposition parties. The ADC was one of them, and therefore was built to attend that, and then some people identified as political thugs went there to disrupt that particular gathering. From the videos circulating online, from the pictures, you could see the windscreen of different vehicles in his convoy. It was broken. You could see that there was a brutal attack. You could see someone with blood all over them. Who could be after Malami, and for what reason? Is this political?
You see, if you understand the way politics is played in Nigeria, you would understand that you can't divorce thuggery from politics in Nigeria. In fact, the strength of your capacity to win an election is sometimes determined by the number of followership, particularly those thugs who can unleash mayhem. And politicians even arm them to do this job. And that's why in most communities, in most states, when these thugs behave abnormally, they don't have the conscience to rein them in, because they know that in future they will still need them for this kind of hatchet job. So for me, it is all about the politics of who wins and who becomes the governor of that state in the next election. And Malami came with a huge war chest, having served Buhari for 8 years as Attorney General. You recall that he was giving out some cars to some emirs. Where did he get the money from? So he has a lot of money to spend, and he would also have to show that force. He needs to do that show of force for him to have a clear entry into the race.
So first up, you believe that this was the work of opposition political thugs, and that it is normal in politics?
It may not be the work of the opposition in the state solely. You see, you are only relying on what was reported. There was no way he will go to that venue without his thugs. So it could be that the
Without
opposition
his thugs. They're saying even Malami walks about with thugs.
That's what
Not
I'm
like
saying.
aides and assistants who are part of his convoy.
That's what I'm saying.
Or like
so
security.
there's no way.
Because the report is that his security shot back at those who were trying to
That's
attack him.
what I'm saying. He might embed regular security in his convoy, but there's no way he would not have thugs that would also be part of his entourage. So it is a case of two people fighting. Let not be that he folded his arms and people are shooting at his convoy. No, that cannot be true, and that is not true.
Why exactly do you believe that is not the case? Because if you say that Malami is walking about with political thugs, it's one thing to look at that and say he is walking about with political thugs. Does that mean that every other politician, most of the people who are following them, yes, the security detail could be part of their followers, people who follow them around, so that if they are being attacked, the security guys can respond in kind. But to say that they move about with political thugs, are we now folding our hands to say that, oh, it's a normal thing in the kind of democracy that Nigeria practices to move about with political thugs?
As a matter of fact, I'm yet to see one, particularly going for that kind of position, a governorship position, that does not have these people around them. Some, they kill cow every day to feed them. Some even buy drugs for these thugs to embolden them. So it's not a question of, except we want to play the ostrich, lying to ourselves. It is the order of the day in most of these elections. And I doubt if this one will be an exception.
That's quite unfortunate, because it's not even
normal.
campaign season yet. It's only the man has not declared and say, oh, I'll go for Kebbi governorship candidate. All we are hearing are reports. It's just people, sources saying, oh, this is what is in the works, this is what they are planning for him. Does that mean that he is being seen as a threat? Does he have the secret of the APC in his hands that he has taken to the ADC? And some people within the APC or other opposition parties do not want to see him spilling those secrets the way El-Rufai seems to have been doing all this while.
You see, what is in the closet of a politician that is not in the next person's closet? You see, we elevate these politicians to the height that they don't belong. All of them are ras, and I mean ras. They can do anything to sustain themselves in power. What would our next minister be doing with retinue of aides and thugs? What? If you are done well and your people acknowledge what you have been able to do you need to carry area boys or thugs around with you to sustain yourself or to provide security for yourself? No. When these people, when they amass wealth through questionable means, and then they need to sustain that wealth and hold on to that wealth, they will bring all these people. And that's what you'll get now.
So you don't feel any pity for Malami for this attack on him?
I don't feel any pity. He will do this. He will do the same.
He will do the same to others.
Yes.
You know, he's a part of the ADC coalition, and the ADC seems to be the Labour Party of 2022-2023. They are showing that, look, they are different from the current crop of politicians that we have. They are different from the current political parties that we have. They are here to effect change and to save Nigeria from the clutches of the APC.
How can a Malami that served the APC for 8 years now tell you that he's now born again?
That's what I'm asking you. Could this attack be? Could it be the child of fear? Could
it's
it be
not
that
fear.
he has APC secret
It's still
in his
the
hand?
game. It's still the game. What is Banabi going to say?
You know, he
that
could have been
will
killed
not have
in this attack. 10
Wait.
vehicles were destroyed in his convoy.
Wait. What would Malabi say about APC? That people that are still remaining in APC will not say 100 fools against him. Look at the way he bungled some high-profile cases. Look at what he did in APC. He gave SUVs to emirs in Kebbi and sheikhs. You don't know how much SUVs are? A single SUV, brand new, cost between 140 to 180 million naira for the ordinary type, not the high end. And then he gave almost like maybe 100 to people. Where did he get the money?
Okay, so should we then go back and say that Nigerians should be very careful of the people joining the ADC coalition, because it's
These
almost
are
as if
these run-through elements.
or they want to use ADC to snatch power from APC and do the same thing APC is doing from
they will do worse
onwards.
They will do worse.
But many Nigerians believe that
Tell
as
me
long
one
as
person.
anything but the APC right now,
It's always the mantra. Let them go now.
and then we jump from frying pan into fire.
Let them go. You see, the tomorrow of Nigeria lies in the electorate, in the hands of the electorate. If they misuse it, fine. Somebody like me, either APC or ADC or PDP or Labour Party, it doesn't affect my profession. I will continue to thrive in my profession. So it is left for those who know that government policies, government direction, implementation of policies would affect them, that should know the right thing to do and the right place to be.
All right, then let's quickly talk about the federal government. That is the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, saying that further steps will be taken once the judgment of the Finnish court on Simon Ekpa has been reviewed. Also, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, dropped a hint that the federal government may seek the repatriation of Simon Ekpa to Nigeria. Yesterday, I was having when this report broke, I was having a conversation with Dr. Peter Anosike, and he said he was not happy with the 6 years that was handed down to Simon Ekpa, and he would have preferred a life imprisonment. And if he's going to serve out the 6 years, then he may as well come and serve it. He may as well come and serve it in Nigeria, because Dr. Peter Anosike believes that Nigerian prisons are a hellhole, while the Finnish prisons will be like heaven for him. So, if the federal government is indeed planning to bring him down to Nigeria, maybe to serve out the sentence, would you say that's a move in the right direction?
There is no way federal government can bring him back to Nigeria to serve, because it's a Finnish citizen and he committed this crime in Finland. So he's going to serve out his time.
But it affected. He may have committed it from Finland, but it was affecting people in Nigeria from the findings of the Finnish court.
The law does not recognize all these things we are talking about. These are just emotional sentiment being brought into this. He's Finnish. He committed in Finland, and Finland had sentenced him. He will serve out his time. Now, if the Finnish government feels that within the period of serving a sentence, it becomes unruly and there's a report on him that is not likely to adhere to the culture, laws, and norms of Finland, that's when they will consider repatriation. And before they can repatriate him, they must have stripped him of the Finnish citizenship, so that they will now make him know that he's a Nigerian and not a Finnish. And then they will bring him down to Nigeria for whatever they want to do. They can even help Nigeria to repatriate him if they know that it's going to constitute a security threat to the sovereign, which is Finland.
All right, talking about constituting security threats, but back to the very first part of my question. Do you agree with the judgment of the Finnish court based on the findings that they made, saying, look, your terrorist activities cost mayhem, it costs loss of lives of many Nigerians in the southeast region of the country? 6 years really enough?
You see, every nation has its statutes, and if that is what the law prescribes for such an offense in Finland, you cannot change it. But the point is, he remains a convict, and when he leaves prison, if there is no state pardon, he continues to remain as an ex-convict till he dies. And that's enough deterrent. And he will also have learned his lesson now, that it is not a tea party to do certain things in certain countries without being brought to book. They will actually bring him back to book. And I'm sure that he knew that the longer he stays on this case, the longer his sentence will be. That's why at some point he had to surrender. And 6 months is not, 6 years is not too long. Maybe in the next 4 years he would have served out his term. Especially
with the time he's already spent in detention before now. All right, let's quickly talk about You want to conclude your thoughts on that?
No. It may not apply over there.
All right, then let's quickly talk about the PDP. Wike's camp has lifted some fresh conditions for the PDP convention to hold. Quite a number of people believe Wike is holding the PDP to ransom. He blatantly supports the APC administration of President Bola Tinubu, but also still has one leg and one arm in the PDP, and he's controlling things there. Now, a group which call themselves eminent leaders and concerned stakeholders of the PDP. They met last night with Wike. They said they want to review the state of the party and to assess critical issues before the forthcoming national convention. They say they agree with the zoning committee's recommendation, which was adopted by the National Executive Committee, that status quo should remain, but they said there should be no form of microzoning in order for peace and stability within the party. They said the national chairman of the party should remain in the North Central in line with the zoning formula of the 2021 convention. They're also saying that failure to comply with these resolutions, that the national convention will be totally invalid. Wike seems to be, to some people, the thorn in the flesh of the PDP, but the PDP itself is not acting like they have a thorn in their flesh.
The point is, Wike is a factor in PDP because he has helped to bring PDP out of the ICU. And if Wike should remove the feeding bottle from PDP, I doubt if anybody has that financial muscle to be able to sustain PDP to the next election, where hopefully they could at least take 1 or 2 more states and consolidate on the 9 they currently hold. So I've always said it, PDP has no lever to expel Wike because they know the influence he wields, and they also know his war chest is huge, so they will not do that to him.
And also he has the backing of this current administration.
Well, I don't know that.
Quite a number of people have accused President Tinubu blatantly of being behind the crisis in the PDP and of even sponsoring the Julius Abure faction of the Labour Party. What do you make of that?
You see, when you say all this, you are only giving power to this man, Tinubu. I recall when Alhaji Lamidi Adedibu of Oyo State, the strong man of Ibadan politics, when he was alive. One day I was interviewing him. I said, how did you come about this strong man of Ibadan politics? You know what he told me? He said he never gave himself that name. I was sitting in his palace here when some journalists came and said, you are this, you are this, you are that. And he kept quiet, and that name stuck. Till he died, he was regarded as the strong man of Ibadan politics. That everybody that wants anything in government would have to come to him, not even the governor. So if you are arrogating this thing to the president and he has not come to affirm this to you, then you are making it stick. And then it could also be a way of scaremongering among this opposition party. Whereas it could be the red herring that leads to nowhere.
All right, then. Mr. Fanimo, thank you so much for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon. It's always a pleasure to have these conversations with you.
It's always my pleasure.
Thank you so much. You have been listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll now go to the capital city to join the Voice of the People 96.1 FM as they bring you updates from Abuja.
Thanks for staying with us. These are the latest stories from the nation's capital. I am Nkamiang John. The House of Representatives Committee on Land Transport says it will summon officials of the Nigerian Railway Corporation and the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation over the recent derailment of a Kaduna-bound train which left about 7 passengers injured. Chairman of the committee, Blessing Onu, made this known to journalists in Abuja on Monday, describing the incident as an embarrassment to the nation. Onu, who represents Ohim-Mili, Otukbo Federal Constituency of Benue State, stressed that rail transport remains the safest means of movement globally and ensured that her committee will not relent in safeguarding the well-being of Nigerians. She noted that while no life was lost in the derailment, the lawmakers will not continue to tolerate such avoidable occurrences. In the same development, The Minister of Transport, Said Al-Khali, has assured that the suspended Abuja-Kaduna train service will be restored within the next 10 days. Al-Khali gave the assurance during an inspection of the accident site following the derailment that occurred on August 26. He explained that about 150 meters of the track was affected and that repairs on the sleeper, pallets and rail line were already underway. The minister said 4 of the 8 derailed coaches had been successfully removed from the site, with the remaining expected to be cleared in the next 48 hours. Akali commended security agents and other stakeholders for ensuring the safety of passengers, workers and facilities during the recovery process. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has warned that poverty will not be accepted as an excuse for illegal occupation in Abuja. Speaking at the media parley on Monday, Wike insisted that all shanty dwellers in the FCT will be evicted. He described the makeshift settlements as illegal, demanding that they be removed because of how they damage the city's image and often serving as hideouts for criminals engaged in kidnapping, insecurity and one-chance operations. The minister further noted that some of these illegal occupants encroach on road corridors meant for infrastructure and later demand compensation when construction begins. He questioned the basis for such demands, stressing that criminals deliberately hide in difficult to access areas to evade security operatives. A Bolt driver has been killed by suspected armed robbers in Abuja. The victim, a resident of Kagni community off the Kubwa Express, was reportedly stabbed in the neck and abandoned along the Gwarimpa Kubwa Express last Tuesday night. He was rushed to Kubwa General Hospital by a security patrol team, but was confirmed dead shortly after arrival due to severe blood loss. His family, who have searched for him all night, later retrieved his body for burial in line with Islamic rites. The deceased, originally from Okene in Kogi State, was laid to rest the same day. The FCT Bolt Drivers Association, in a social media post, expressed concern over the growing spate of such attacks. Those are the latest developments in the nation's capital. I am Kamyang John.
And that was the news from our sister station in the capital city of Abuja, Voice of the People, 96.1 FM, Abuja. We thank you for staying with us on the World News at 12 this afternoon. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that the United Nations has revealed hundreds killed in Sudan landslide. Ex-AGF Malami's convoy attacked in Kebbi State. Federal government may seek Simon Ekpa's repatriation to Nigeria. And NAFDAC alerts public to fake oxytocin injection circulating in Nigeria. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Chioma Innocent. Good afternoon and thank you for listening. Do stay tuned. The matters will be coming up by 1:30 p.m.